Snipers, you have to see what's happening in the cryptocurrency market today as Bitcoin is testing the 100 period moving average on the daily chart for a second time, knocking on the door, sitting right at that $53,000 level, and we're starting to see the S&P 500 fall way and below the previous weekly open, heading towards the 50 period moving average exactly as we predicted, and that's affecting Bitcoin's price. And notice how the DXY right now is also pushing to the upside, and that's exactly what we've been telling each and every one of you guys tuned into the Snipers channels to watch, just in case we potentially see this DXY move violently. It's going to affect markets, and that's exactly what we're seeing here with Bitcoin testing this 100 period moving average on the daily chart right now at 53,000 US dollars. I want to talk about what correlations to watch as we head into the end of this week, because we are at a very critical point for Bitcoin, and then we'll take a look at Ethereum and altcoins. As always, you guys are watching the Snipers channel. My name is Naeem Al-Obeidi. If you appreciate this content, remember to smash the like button. So realize here on the 4-hour time frame, everything morphs from the smaller time frames into the higher time frames. And so a 1-minute chart will morph into a 5-minute chart, which will morph into a 10-minute chart. And you can go on the 120-minute chart, the 240-minute chart, and the daily chart. And so right now we want to look into the micro and understand what's happening, because this is what's going to morph into the larger time frames. And so far on the 4-hour chart, which is an extremely important chart, we are below all moving averages, showing bearish price action inside of this channel between 58,300 and 49,700, exactly as we've been talking about here on the Snipers channel for those tuned in. And we saw a rejection here of the monthly open yesterday, and notice how right now the door is clearly open to see 49,700 US dollars. And when we look at what's happening on the daily chart, because that's what the 4-hour is showing us, you can see we are at this 100 period moving average for a second time, knocking on this door. And we all know when you're knocking on a door multiple times at an important level, that the likelihood of that level breaking down or breaking out becomes a lot more likely. And right now, this is knocking on the 100 period moving average, sitting at 53,000 US dollars. And if we start to see 4-hour and hourly candles close below this 100 period moving average, and really at this point we can take the low of this wick here right at that $53,400 level. If we start to close hourly and 4-hour below 53,400, I expect 49,700 to come into the equation. Now, if we start to see a more violent fall in traditional markets, as we start to see the bell close today at 4 p.m. Eastern time and futures open up, then at that point, we have to also monitor the $44,800 level as the next potential downside target. Now, let's say something happens and we start to see bullish momentum with the S&P 500 and we start to go sideways. We'll keep in mind that Bitcoin is inside of this very large channel here. And if we look at a percentage of what this channel is looking like, it's almost a 20% range that Bitcoin has been moving sideways in over the last few weeks. And so understand that the path of least resistance when there's low volume, which there is right now, is always going to be sideways to a little bit higher. So expect potential sideways price action. But here's where things get extremely exciting, and we'll look at others' dominance in just a second, because we saw a massive push to the upside. And I'm going to talk about what I'm expecting for altcoins, because the total cryptocurrency market cap is showing a whole different playbook. But let's talk about what's happening in Ethereum. Just as we expected, we're coming down to test this weekly open right now, right at that $4,000 big even. If we're not able to hold, there is a potential we could see Ethereum fall further down. And so we want to look at the daily chart at this point, because we are in price discovery and a massive breakout. And if this weekly open does not hold at 4,000, there is a potential it opens the door to that $3,000 level, because we know that we rushed through 3,000 to 4,000. And if we really start to see downside in traditional markets and that affects Bitcoin, it could also affect Ethereum, of course. But the other side to this is, if we maintain 4,000, then that could assume we're going to see continuation of strength with Ethereum and potentially even some other altcoins. And there might be a decoupling between Bitcoin, the traditional markets, versus Ethereum and other altcoins. And so we just want to keep that puzzle piece on the table. Of course, here, I'm trying to be your umpire and give you guys a neutral perspective of everything. And notice here with the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, we're still showing strength. So that likelihood of a decoupling effect is still on the table. And we did close extremely bullish yesterday on the daily candle. So this could still continue to the upside. And so we want to monitor altcoins. And when we look at the total cryptocurrency market cap chart, notice how we're not seeing too violent of a breakdown. We're still way above this 50-period moving average. It looks a lot better than the S&P 500. It looks way better than all of the international markets. It looks a ton, 10 times better than all of the precious metals and other commodities. And so the total market still looks extremely healthy, which is extremely positive. As long as we maintain this monthly open at $2.156 trillion, I think that altcoins can continue to see upside despite anything else happening with other markets and even with the DXY. And so keep that in mind, because others' dominance saw a very bullish retest of this 50-period moving average, and we saw coins like Bitcoin Cash, Cardano, and other coins maintain their price or see new all-time highs. And so that's a positive thing for the total market, and Bitcoin dominance continuing to form new lows, as you guys can see, heading towards our target of 35% dominance. And let's talk about traditional markets, because I'm telling you guys how important this is. And the day that we see the DXY up over 0.5%, which is a big deal for the DXY, we're starting to see the S&P 500 come down, and that's also affecting Bitcoin coming down to that $53,000 level. And so right now, this is what I'm monitoring for the DXY, and this is what you should also monitor, because we talk about things that no one else talks about on other channels, on this channel, because we correlate all markets because they are all correlated. And so this is extremely important to watch as we close this week. Is the DXY going to reclaim this 20-week moving average sitting right at that 91.138 level? We're going to have to get above 91.015, which is a major resistance to get there. But if we reclaim this 20-week moving average, there could still be a potential reversal here for the DXY. We are seeing a very potentially bullish weekly candle starting to form. So let's monitor this. If we reject this 20-week moving average, then we could potentially see further downside. But that is what we want to monitor. Further downside for the DXY means crypto goes up. DXY going up means crypto potentially could start to see downside or sideways action, a lot less volume potentially, because when the US dollar strengthens, the asset prices start to come down, right? So let's monitor this. The S&P 500 also looking like it wants to come back to home base at that 20-week moving average. That's what I like to call home base. You can see we've stayed above it since the last test of this 20-week moving average in October. And so if we come down to this 20-week moving average, I wouldn't be surprised. If we look at Japanese markets, we've never analyzed the 20-week moving average. You can see we've already come way in below this 20-week moving average. And I guarantee if we look at the tech sector and we observe the Qs, we're also once again below this 20-week moving average, because it seems like the tech sector in QQQ, for those that don't know, is the trust that holds the most tech stocks. It's having a huge correlation with Japanese markets, and then the S&P 500 is the next market on that checkerboard. And so is this going to come down to this 20-week moving average? And if so, that potential downside of around 3% could affect the cryptocurrency market. It could affect Bitcoin between 10 to 15%, because Bitcoin is a way more volatile asset because it has a lot less of a market cap than the S&P 500, of course. So we just want to continue monitoring what's happening here. But so far, it looks like we want to come to home base, sitting right at that 4,000 big even for the S&P 500 E-mini futures contract. And then when we look at gold, we're also seeing a little bit of weakness, but nothing to be worried about. We are below the weekly open right now, but it looks like since we've broken out from this, we're seeing a bullish continuation of the upside. If we look at this 20-week moving average, you can see we are above it now. And so even if gold comes down to that 1790 to retest that level, I think that there could still be potential upside. And we know when precious metals start to come up, it is a sign that institutions are starting to hedge away from other assets, right? This lemon juice, by the way, helps a lot with these videos. That's a hack for those that make YouTube videos. And then let's monitor this gold to Bitcoin chart. You can see we're coming up to this 20-week moving average, but more importantly, if we were to invert this chart, notice how right now we are starting to potentially move towards a direction. And if we come down to this 100-period moving average, that could be a sign that we have a short-term top for Bitcoin, because we've maintained this for the whole bull market. And so if we come down, that could be a detrimental sign. So a lot of stuff happening, a lot of exciting things in the market. And really with Bitcoin at this point, It looks like it wants to continue sideways. The S&P 500 has some room to go down. Bitcoin also has some room to come down to this $49,700 level and still show sideways price action. That's not a bad thing. There could still be a medium-term bullish scenario. And so for those tuned into this Cypress channel, you'll know when that comes. And with that, I do want to give back because I appreciate each and every one of you guys watching these videos. Principles by Ray Dalio, one of my favorite books on value investing. If you want to win this hardcover version, comment below and share this video. And if you do win, message our Instagram at Traders Profit Club. And for those that have yet to check out our Instagram, please go check out our Instagram. The link is in the description below. We are posting some amazing content here, and I guarantee you guys will love the content on our Instagram. So check it out, and let's go ahead and pick a winner for our book giveaway from yesterday's video. And once again, if you're international, we're having a lot harder of a time to get the books out. Jesse Compton says Cardano is mirroring Ethereum. Send me a message on Instagram at Traders Profit Club, and you want a book. And with that, thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, snipers out.